Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli with Little Blue. And that's right, with the Star Wars Review Marathon still going. Now, Return of the Jedi, Episode 6.
Or as I like to refer to it, The Muppet Show.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we have to say about Episode 6?
Loved Episode 6.
Yeah.
Loved the fact that Luke was portrayed even as a good guy. He was a good guy wearing black.
Yes.
Which I thought was very cool. Because, the good guys are said to always wear the good guys, the good cowboys in the movies, the good guys wear the white hats. The bad guys wear the black hats. They're sinister, they're dark, they're evil.
Right.
But in this, and even in Star Wars, we
Vader
saw,
is black and such.
Darth Sidious wore the black robe. Darth Vader,
Darth
even
Maul.
Darth Maul.
Yes.
Darth Tyrannus.
He kind of wore black. Well, he wore a bit of brown and such. Dooku.
He did, but he had black. So here comes Luke. Luke is the good guy. He is the epitome of good as a Jedi, and he wears black because he can.
He's Luke.
He's Luke. But if you notice too, so did Anakin. Anakin wore
Yes,
black
I was
as
going to
well.
mention that too.
Anakin turns to the dark side.
Yep.
Interesting side note, if I may.
What?
And you know about this.
What?
Star Wars comics, don't know which issue.
As of now, and I know which ones, like they're now legends,
Right. This was post Episode 6. This was a storyline post Episode 6. Luke, in an effort to learn more about the enemy and learn more about the dark side, actually turns to the dark side.
Yep.
He does this in a storyline. And Yoda, Master Yoda, Obi-Wan,
and
Anakin, his father, in as Force ghosts, implore him and beg him, don't do it, because they're afraid he won't come back. But he does. He turns to the dark side, but he comes back. But he gains knowledge of how the enemy works, and it makes him even more powerful as a Jedi. So,
right.
Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Right.
From your what it's worth department.
With Episode 6, this is where we get the second Death Star.
Yes.
And Palpatine comes in, of course.
I wonder if anybody besides me was scratching their head and saying, wait a second, how long did it take them to build this first Death Star?
Exactly.
And they've already got this second one under construction? It's as big as a planet, or as big as a moon, at least.
Almost as big as, it's not as big as a planet, just,
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's not complete, but it's fully operational, as we find out.
Yeah, because of how much they build, So,
yeah. So, but it's really cool the way it's set up with, the Force Moon of Endor. They have a shield generator, amplifier, if you will. It's like a big satellite dish that amplifies that powers the shield that protects the Death Star.
Right.
So there's an Achilles heel there that you see pretty quickly, that there is a way to defeat this thing.
Right.
And there's obviously a way into it because it's not complete.
Of course, yeah.
So once they figure out how to get into it, they've already figured out they can get in through the main shaft, up the middle, put off an explosion, boom, chain reaction, sets the whole thing off. Pretty much the way they destroyed the first Death Star.
Exactly.
With the exception this time that instead of a 1 meter wide porthole, they've got they can fly ships through it. Mm-hmm. So, but it's really interesting too to see. This is the first time we see Star Wars fans see, if you follow the sequence and watch it in sequence, Jabba the Hutt.
Right. With the exception of his appearance in A New Hope, so.
Right, which was never shown originally until the special editions came out in 1997. And then we see, how it was originally envisioned by George Lucas.
Correct.
Even Boba Fett was in Episode 4.
Yeah.
So, but by the time we get to Episode 6, there are some things going on that, I'll admit, Jabba's palace got a little weird for me.
Yeah.
It was weird in the beginning, but after the special edition came out, it got real weird for me.
Yeah.
Because honestly, with the band, I felt like I was watching an episode of The Muppet Show.
But at least in the original version of the original release of it, it wasn't too bad, of course.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
No.
And it's entertaining, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
which is better, the original song from Max Rebo or the one Jedi Rocks?
probably the original.
Yeah, because don't you remember, you know, that's how it goes, you know? If only they could have kept that in and still would have, you know, CG'd Cy Snoodles, because, you know, the original was a puppet, of course.
I was 19 years old when that movie came out. I was a lifeguard. I was working as a lifeguard at the local pool down the road here in the summer. And so I had some pocket money to spend. And
Right.
a girl I went out with, we went out on a double date. And I paid for everybody's movie ticket to go see Return of the Jedi.
Oh.
Because nobody wanted to see it but me. So I said, I bribed everybody. I said, I will pay everybody's movie ticket if you'll go see this, because it's a fantastic movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the one guy that saw it, who was a double date, a friend of mine, was dating the other girls he was out on the double date with.
Correct.
And I drove.
Correct.
He made the comment when we got out of the movie, he said, there sure were a lot of critters in that movie. I said, that's one way of looking at it, yes.
From Jabba's palace, I guess, if you count the Ewoks as well.
Yep, there were a lot of critters.
That's another thing, too, because with the Ewoks, of course, you know, this is where they first appear as well.
Yep.
And they help out the rebels, of course.
They do.
Yep. And there's some cool parts to Endor, like that speeder bike chase.
The speeder bike chase.
If you look at the behind the scenes, because a guy with, like, camera equipment and such, strapped around his waist or whatever, walking around at some local forest, I forget what it was, but, you know.
It was out
and
in
they
California.
and they sped up the footage.
Oh, yeah. And it was very cool how it was done. And when I saw it, that was the first thing I saw as a preview, the trailer. I saw it, saw an interview or something that was done on, I don't even know what TV station I was watching or what channel I was watching, network, but that was the scene they showed. And I was just sucked right in.
The speeder bike chase?
Oh, yeah, man. I thought that was so cool. You know, and we have, I'll jump out of camera real quick here.
You sometimes do this.
Loved the speeder bike so much that I have the speeder bike.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the actual props they use. No, I'm kidding. This is one I bought, but it's,
Yeah.
I love the speeder bike. And oh my gosh, if they ever come out with these things, I'm going to buy one. Promise you, I'm going to have one.
Come out with what now?
Speeder bike. They've already got, I've seen this already. They have, it's a really, really large drone that you can stand on with a remote control, and you can fly yourself. You can literally float above. The video I saw looks like they're about 10 feet above the ground, 10 to 15 feet above the ground.
Right.
Going right down the road, you know, on
Right.
this thing.
Right.
And I don't know how long it would last, but...
And then also with Return of the Jedi, because this is where, you know, of course, Yoda, he dies.
yes.
Yep, and, you know, does tell him that Vader is his father.
Right, he does confirm that. But
And-
then we also find out who the other Skywalker
And as
is.
Yoda was slowly dying and saying, there is another
Skywalker.
Yeah.
And you're like, who is it? Don't die, tell us!
Yeah.
And then Luke figures it out on his own.
Obi-Wan comes in.
Obi-Wan comes in, but Luke figures it out. He
As
searches his feelings.
Obi-Wan was kind of hinting, kind of telling him that, you know.
He searches his feelings. Leia is my sister. Your insight serve you well.
That's
That's the line.
and also that part, you know, Luke tells Obi-Wan, why didn't you tell me, you know? Mm-hmm. And Obi-Wan establishes pretty well, you know, he ceased to be Anakin Skywalker and then became Darth Vader. When that happened, the good man I knew, who was your father, was destroyed.
Yes.
So what I told you was true from a certain point of view.
And that was the part where, you know, even when Luke said that, it was like when George Lucas wrote it, because he was trying to write his way out of this. Because I don't think, honestly, he had figured out at that point, you know, Obi-Wan is cryptic in episode 4, you know, because you see the look on his face. He's
After Luke says, how did my father die?
a pupil of mine, you know, named Darth Vader, betrayed and murdered your father. So when he says that from a certain point of view, and you see Luke's reaction to that, a certain point of view, that's pretty much the audience reaction, I would think, because you're like, a certain point of view, all right, let's see how you explain this. So then he goes into, you know, you're going to find, Luke, that everything, all the truths we cling to are from a certain point of view, you know. And then he goes off into this explanation about Anakin and what a great pilot he was and all this stuff, and
and teaching him the ways of the Force, and become Jedi.
And by that time, you're like, all right, okay. He's painted his way out of the corner, which he pretty much did with that scene.
Yep.
But it was It was so well done.
Yeah, and that sequence with Luke and Vader talking, on Endor.
Yes. You can see
Luke is getting to his father.
Luke is getting to him because Vader turns his back. Vader stands there, and Luke turns his back to him. But you can see the conflict, and he says, "I can feel the conflict in you. Let go."
Yeah.
It
is too late for me, son.
And when he says that, it is too late for me, son.
Yeah.
He puts that emphasis on for me, son. But he is saying to Luke, but there still may be a chance for you. Yeah. He is saying that even without saying.
A bit of Anakin is coming back.
Exactly.
Yep, and Luke is the only answer to bringing his father back. So
Yes.
And it's like throughout the rest of the film, like Vader's going back and forth between being Vader and Anakin.
Exactly.
Right, and because that's the thing, Vader and Anakin are two different people.
Right.
Another thing is the whole sequence, like those going back and forth between on the Death Star, Luke, Vader, and Palpatine, on Endor with Han and the gang and the Ewoks, and the battle in space. So everything going on, three things going on.
I can remember the first time I watched
Lando leading the rebels.
Right. I was going to say I can remember watching Return of the Jedi when it came out in theaters.
Right.
And I can remember waiting. They had it they were playing it every 2 hours. As long as it would run, they would go in, clean out the theater, and then the next group of people, the next audience would come in.
Right.
So while I'm waiting, I got there kind of early.
Right.
You could hear the Battle of Endor going on.
Oh, cool.
You could hear it going on through the walls, but you had no idea what was going on because you hadn't seen the movie. But you're listening to it, you're going, "Oh my God, there is this incredible battle going on. I cannot wait to see this movie." And of course, by the time you get in there and you see it, you're just blown away. And at the end, when Vader turns to the good side,
because when Palpatine is lightning strike Luke,
even when he's standing there and he is just electrocuting Luke, with the dark side of the Force,
Skywalker, you will die.
Yeah, he's.
But I also like that part right before that because Luke's like, I'll never turn to the dark side. You failed, Your Highness. I'm a Jedi like my father before me.
Yeah.
And Palpatine's like, so be it, Jedi. Yes.
So be it, Jedi.
Yes. If you will not be turned, you will be destroyed.
And
yes.
And he's standing there doing that, and Vader keeps looking over at him, and he sees the enjoyment on Palpatine's face. He's destroying.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, but also, the anger in Palpatine's face as well, the evilness. So
unlimited power.
Well, of course, he doesn't say that.
No, but he's enjoyed it. You can see the enjoyment on his face as he's destroying Anakin's son, Darth Vader's son, and Darth Vader's just like, "All right, I've had enough of this."
Yes, but there's one thing: in the original, Vader doesn't say anything, but in the one of the re-releases, the Blu-ray, he says no. Nothing like how it is in Revenge of the Sith, different one. But which is better, that or when it was the original release?
The original. The no part was that was unnecessary because it was like, hey, we've got this cut from
No, I think that was like a new recording of Vader.
Well, it was a new recording from Episode 3. Revenge of the Sith.
I don't think so.
It was because it's when he comes out.
Maybe I didn't look it up.
When Sidious says, in your anger, you destroyed her.
All right,
you killed her, and
we can continue.
No, so that's the same one. That's the same.
It's not the same one. How he said it.
All right, just go back and listen. I bet you I'm right.
No, it's not. The way he says it. No.
All right.
But anyways, and then Anakin has come back. Vader's dead.
Anakin has come back, and so
Vader's no more. So
is he going to live like this now? Can he live? But he's going to die.
Yeah.
You know he's going to die.
He knew he had to kill himself to save his son.
He's redeemed himself, so he's got to die.
Yeah.
He's a hero in the end. Which, if you go back and you look at the prophecy, the Jedi prophecy, which it said he was the chosen one, it said he would destroy the Sith, not join them.
And Qui-Gon knew that he was the chosen one.
Right.
But of course, still didn't really know when.
Right. But as Yoda said, a prophecy which could have been misread which it was misread in a way. He was the chosen one, but he had to get there the way it happened.
Right.
So they didn't have the full story.
And then that sequence, we see the face of Anakin.
Yes,
Played by Sebastian Shaw, I think. Yes. That's his last name.
And he was not the original voice of he was not the original person who played.
David Prowse was the body.
David Prowse was the body, but David Prowse did not get to do that role with the helmet off.
No.
It was another actor, which I thought was kind of a ripoff because he played the character all the way through. Why not let his face be seen? They could put makeup on him and make him look as horrible as the other guy, but they didn't do it. For whatever reason, they chose not to do that. And I was disappointed when I found out in the end that it wasn't the original actor who did it. But I do remember when I saw that in the theater, my first thought was, he doesn't look evil. He looks.
But do you remember?
He looks like a nice guy.
But do you remember the original release? He had bushy eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is better, that or with him not having eyebrows?
Well, you can't have eyebrows because if you've been burned the way he was, his eyebrows were burned off.
So how the frick does he have the eyebrows?
I don't know.
But without the eyebrows,
maybe they grew back,
But yeah, I think without the eyebrows, it's a lot better. And because he had you see Vader, you see Anakin, him behind the mask, and an innocent and sweet face,
Very, very much so.
Yeah.
And very kind eyes. And he smiles.
Yeah, he does smile. So.
And this is not the same guy, that you remember saying, you are part of a rebel alliance and a traitor.
Well,
take her away.
It's Anakin, no longer Vader.
Exactly. He's been purged of the dark side.
Yes.
His soul has been purged of the dark side. He is, as we would say, if you look at it from the standpoint of the Jedi really, you can relate them to the disciples. The Force is God, and so when they turn to the dark side is evil or the devil. Sidious was the devil. So when Sidious is destroyed, Anakin's soul is saved.
Right.
He becomes a Jedi again.
Correct.
He goes back to the light side.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Or as Luke says, the good side.
Yeah. And the lines that Anakin gives, you were right about me. Tell your sister you were right,
Tell your sister you were
because Luke was right about his father, about Anakin and so on.
Exactly.
Yep. And as Anakin slowly dying, and Luke, Father, I won't leave you,
Yeah.
And one last breath of Anakin, and the way the music plays, really well done.
Yeah, it is. But then you see...
a bit of tears from Luke,
Yeah, but you also see Luke, how he is, he does what the Jedi... demand, that the body be burned after death.
Right.
Because that's the way it was done with Qui-Gon.
The whole Death Star battle, and they go inside to destroy it, pretty epic. Because
very epic.
Wedge and Lando become the heroes destroying the Death Star.
Yeah, loved Wedge. Wedge was so cool.
Yeah.
Wedge Antilles.
Wedge and Lando, they became heroes, and they destroyed the Death Star.
Lando Calrissian and Wedge Antilles.
And they get out of there, and a big explosion happens,
Exactly. And I loved it when he drops his proton torpedo, he fires on the main generator.
Well, and, Wedge and Lando, they do that. They take turns.
And Wedge, and Lando says, tell us to get out of here. And he says, by that time Wedge is already fired. He says, I'm already on my way out.
Yep.
And he's out of there.
Yes.
But he's so cool. He's so cool.
Yep. And one part with the Millennium Falcon, one part of the Millennium Falcon breaks off,
Yeah, exactly. They lose
the satellite dish.
They lose the sensor dish.
Yeah.
And
Lando's like, that was too close.
Yeah, and interesting that in later years, it's a square dish now.
Yeah. Do you notice how when Lando said that was too close, there was a bit of an echo there?
Yeah, there was a bit of an echo.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I guess it sounds cool,
Yeah.
Even because what did Lando mean by that? That was too close.
Well, meaning, it was too close because it could have been much worse. I mean, they just knocked the sensor array off.
Han would have understood that, what happened,
Well, yeah. And I'm sure he replaced it right after that.
Of course,
as we see later, it's a different dish.
Exactly, yeah. And, also, we're forgetting another character, Akbar.
Admiral Akbar.
This is where he first appears.
Yeah.
Yep. And, of course, the famous quote, "It's a trap!"
It's a trap!
Yep. Exactly. But there's more, because Akbar's a great character,
Yeah,
a great admiral.
Yeah.
And the dialogue he gives talking about the the Death Star and so on, you know.
Yeah.
You can see here the Death Star orbiting the forest moon of Endor, and so on. And,
See,
and saying, move the fleet away from the Death Star.
I get into the dialogue.
Concentrate all fire on that ship to Star Destroyer.
The communications between the ships, you know, the
The
music.
I think the Green Leader was the one who destroyed the main Star Destroyer.
Green Leader was the A-wing, and the A-wing is said to be the fastest starfighter of even the X-wing class. And it takes a very special pilot to fly it. In the books, Anakin flew an A-wing because he was such a great star pilot. But the A-wing was so fast and so maneuverable that it required a very special pilot with special skills to fly.
And the A-wing was the one that destroyed the Star Destroyer, right? Like the main.
Yes.
Yeah,
because he lost control and he crashed into the bridge.
In the Green Leader, it was the Green Leader.
Leader, he crashed into the bridge and they lost their bridge. They had lost their bridge deflector.
That was the main
shield,
and that was the main bridge of that ship.
Right. He flew into it. It was basically a kamikaze. Is what he did.
Yeah.
But you know he had already lost control, so he might as well go out with a bang.
Yeah, and he was going to die, and he just had to run into the bridge. You know.
I got to tell you,
that shot where the ship, the A-wing comes in, and they jump. You know.
Yeah.
That's actually, I kind of read this, that somebody, I guess, of ILM used a toy car for that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you couldn't really see that well. I mean, besides, you know. It's like, you know, the A-wing partially destroyed.
Exactly.
So,
but I think the one thing...
And Admiral Piet in this one. Because actually, at first he wasn't going to be in this, but, you know, I think that's when, like, George... Like, there was a conversation between him, the actor, and George, and he became a fan favorite, the character. Yeah. That's when George wrote him some dialogue, you know? Exactly. And he gets killed in the bridge, so, you know.
Well,
Go ahead.
The thing I was going to say is the
epic shot, the Star Destroyer crashing into the Death Star.
The big standout for me, and a big highlight for me, is always the communications between the ships.
Right.
You know, all craft report in. Red leader standing by. Gold leader standing by. Green leader standing by.
We don't hear
lock X foils into attack.
We don't hear gold leader. Yeah. We don't see a shot or hear.
No, not gold leader, but green leader, red leader,
gray leader, and
gray leader,
red leader, gray leader, green leader. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
And they're all, you know, lock S foils into attack positions. So
I think Lando's gold leader.
Yeah, I think he is gold leader.
Yeah, because I hear somebody we see on in one shot saying I'm on a gold leader.
Now the gold leader in the gold group was in episode 4, where actually the Y-wings. Right, and the red group was the X-wings.
Right, in A New Hope. So,
and you only saw the X-wings and the Y-wings.
Wedge is now red leader.
Right, you only saw the X-wings and the Y-wings in episode 4.
Yep, and of course later on, because you know the Death Star's blown up, and Han realizes that Luke is Leia's brother.
Right,
and we see Luke. He's burning his father's body, and then big celebration. And in the re-release, like the special edition, all the planets celebrating.
Yes.
And in the 2004 one, they added in Naboo. So remember hearing one Gungan in that? We saw free.
Yeah, I do remember that. But I also remember that when they redid that in the special edition, I liked the song, the end song, much better.
It kind of worked in how the characters were dancing,
And it was it had more of a peaceful sound to it because they had finally brought peace to the galaxy.
Right.
So the music was much more. It was upbeat.
Yeah, you got a point.
But it was.
You have a very good point.
And George Lucas wanted more different music, but he wanted something that was an even tempo with that that other goofy thing they had. God, I hated that. But when they redid it, absolutely loved it. I thought it was perfect. And they showed the scenes from Naboo. They showed the scenes from
Coruscant,
Tatooine,
Cloud City.
Exactly. All these places where they were in celebration because, Ding Dong the Witch is dead.
Cloud City, a statue of Palpatine tips over.
I know, which was so cool.
You can even see a few glimpses of, I guess, stormtroopers being tackled or something.
Yeah, I think so.
And in when it was redone in 2004, yet again, I guess, on DVD, they added in the council building or whatever and the Jedi Temple.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, and then of course we see Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Anakin.
Right.
And in the original, Sebastian Shaw, of course, appeared as Anakin, but in one of the later releases, Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. which I thought was okay that they did
because
that.
that's how he still was, you know. And even when he was after he got burned or something. Well, before he got burned, you get what I'm saying.
More consistent. And I saw a recent comparison between between Obi-Wan, the original with Sir Alec Guinness,
Right.
and Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, a side-by-side comparison. And there are very close similarities to the way they look. Right. I mean, they did a really good job on casting with that.
Yeah.
And he had his mannerisms down pat.
Yeah. And one more thing, like we forgot to mention this, the battle on Tatooine, you know, Luke attacking Jabba's men and such, you know.
Oh yeah, in the very beginning.
Leia kills Jabba.
Yeah, exactly. Leia kills Jabba, and you know, she's the hero of the day there.
Yep. And R2 attacks Salacious Crumb, you know.
Yeah.
At one part where Salacious is like attacking 3PO and something like that, Anthony Daniels actually had a panic attack, and they used that shot.
Really?
Yeah, even Anthony Daniels established it in the Empire of Dreams documentary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he was just like, there was one moment where he was like, "Get me out, get me out, get me out," you know, and just, you know, he kept repeating it.
Yeah.
And they used that shot where he was having the panic attack. Well, it worked so well. And of course, Boba Fett, he gets in the Sarlacc pit. But we know now, and it's been talked about for many years, I was with you, I was on the side of those people that knew he was alive.
Oh, I never thought he was killed. Never.
Me neither.
He's just too iconic.
From some fan films, and now with The Mandalorian, John and Dave proved so.
Oh, absolutely they did. And now we've got a new series coming in December.
The Book of Boba Fett.
Which is such a cool title.
After Boba Fett appeared in The Mandalorian Season 2, now he gets his own series.
Yeah, which I love the actor. He is so good.
Tamir Morrison. He went from Jango Fett now to being Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And he did the voice of Boba Fett in Empire, so.
Exactly.
For the new release.
Yeah.
Anyways, but...
yeah, he's turned out to be quite a Star Wars icon.
Yes, and he had wanted to come back to play. He'd been hoping to play Boba Fett again, you know.
Yeah, and he gets his chance, and I think he's going to do a great job with it.
You know how there was originally going to be a Boba Fett film, but they replaced it. They replaced it and in favor for doing Mandalorian. But look how farther we've come, and now Boba Fett gets his own series.
Exactly.
I think him getting a series is much better.
I think it was in the works for a long time.
Right.
That they just, the general public didn't know about it. That they were
been hearing rumors and talks, you know.
Yeah. So
just like how Ewan McGregor, been talks if Ewan was coming back as Obi-Wan.
Exactly, and he'd known that for a long time.
Yeah,
he just couldn't talk about it.
At D23, that's when it was finally announced, and he did even say, we've been talking and such. That's because bringing that up.
Well, I saw a picture of him probably 3 years ago when he was working out. He had the Obi-Wan beard and everything. And when I saw that, I went, "Oh, he's coming."
And there have been
recent
recent pics where he's been having a full beard.
Yeah, and I knew that. So
all right. So with all that being said, I think we've established pretty much of Return of the Jedi. Any last words?
No last words. I give it 5 stars.
I was about to say, how do we rate this?
5 stars.
I give this 10 out of 10. Why not?
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
And 2 thumbs up, of course, way up. And you guys let us know what you think. We hope you enjoyed our review of Return of the Jedi. 28 minutes. I think it was worth it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So, and this is Star Wars, of course. So, anyways, so with that being said, we hope you enjoyed. Leave comments as always, what you think of Return of the Jedi. All I can say is, again, leave comments as always. And any last words?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. Same for me. We hope you enjoyed our review, and we'll see you guys in the next video/review. And next up, you know what's coming. The prequels. Episode 1. Take care, peace out, and may the Force be with you.